Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Dr. Baher Fuad, and the subject today is the hadith of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. حفت النار بالشهوات وحفت الجنة بالمكاره. The road to hell is full of temptations and desires, and the road to paradise is full of difficulties and obstacles and things that people do not like. So the road to hell is easy if we follow our vain desires and do everything that we like and disregard Allah's orders. Then the road is easy and it will definitely guide us to hell. However, if we fulfill our obligations to Allah and obey His orders and live our life as He commanded us to do and control our vain desires, all of these are difficult things to do, then that will guide us to paradise. So, first, why is the road to hell full of temptations and desires? This is meant to test and to try mankind to find out what is he made of. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ حَتَّى نَعْلَمَ الْمُجَاهِدِينَ مِنْكُمْ وَالصَّابِرِينَ وَنَبْلُوَ أَخْبَارَكُم. الآية في سورة Muhammad. We are going to test you and try you until we know who amongst you strive in our way and who patiently persevere, and we are going to test what are you made of. Chapter 47 of the Quran. فَأَمَّا مَنْ طَغَى وَآثَرَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا فَإِنَّ الْجَحِيمَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. As to the one who has transgressed and prefers the life of this world, then hell is his abode. Surah Al-Nazi'at. وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَمَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَزِينَتُهَا وَمَا عِندَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Whatever you were given is the allure of this worldly life, and what Allah has in store for you is better and everlasting. Would you not then consider? Now, what are these shahawat? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us something about these desires. في آل عمران زُيِّنَ للناس حب الشهوات من النساء والبنين والقناطير المقنطرة من الذهب والفضة والخيل المسومة والأنعام والحرث ذلك متاع الحياة الدنيا والله عنده حسن المآب. Chapter 13 of the Quran. Fair in the eyes of men are the things that they love and covet, like women and children, heaps of gold and silver, branded horses, well-tilled land, cattle. These are the pleasures of this worldly life, and what Allah has in store is better. وفي سورة الحديد chapter 57 the Quran اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب ولهو وزينة وتفاخر بينكم وتكاثر في الأموال والأولاد كمثل غيث أعجب الكفار نباته ثم يهيج فتراه مصفرا ثم يكون حطاما وفي الآخرة عذاب شديد ومغفرة من الله ورضوان وما الحياة الدنيا إلا متاع الغرور. Know that the life of this world is just play, amusement, and multiplications in children and in money, and boasting amongst yourselves like rain that produces a growth that delights those who have rejected faith, and then you see this growth or plants grow old, becomes yellow, and then it crumbles. In the hereafter there is severe punishment from Allah as well as forgiveness and the good pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are some of the temptations, the shahawat. For example, love of money. This is an instinct in man that every one of us loves money, and some of us wants more and more and more and never, and there is nothing called enough. And Prophet Muhammad said, لو كان لابن آدم واد من ذهب لتمنى أن يكون له واد ثاني ولو كان له واديان لتمنى أن يكون له ثلاثة ولا يملأ جوفه إلا التراب. If you have one valley of gold, you want a second one. If you have two, you want a third one, and nothing will satisfy you until you die. Now, there is nothing wrong in enjoying the good things in life in moderation, without being extravagant or a miser, as long as these good things are lawful and we understand that what really counts is our accountability to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our good deeds and a heart that is sound are what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts. Another shahwa is love of women, sexual desire, even those who are married, committing zina, adultery. وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشَةً وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا. Do not come near to adultery because it is an abomination and a bad way to fulfill your desires. Another shahwa is power, especially when we abuse our power. Power corrupts, and we want to continue holding on to power even though we are making mistake after mistake. Another of these shahwat is fame, the love to be desired for things you do and things you don't even do. Another shahwat is to abuse our power, not to give to a person his due rights, to oppress people in order to continue being in power. Another is not to judge between people with justice. إن الله يأمركم أن تؤدوا الأمانات إلى أهلها وإذا حكمتم بين الناس أن تحكموا بالعدل. Allah orders you to return what was entrusted to you to its rightful owners, and when you judge between people to do so with justice and fairness. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين بالقسط شهداء لله. Stand up for justice as witnesses for Allah. ولو على أنفسكم أو الوالدين والأقربين إن يكن غنيا أو فقيرا فالله أولى بهما فلا تتبعوا الهوى أن تعدلوا. Do not follow your desires, otherwise you will become unjust. وإن تلووا أو تعرضوا. If you deviate from justice or refuse to do justice, فإن الله كان بما تعملون خبيرا. Allah is well aware of everything that you do. Engaging in alcohol or drugs, which cloud our mind and our judgment and may lead us to do more major sins. Cheating, lying, giving false witness, backbiting, all of these are shahawat. So why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did forbid this? Because if we don't control our vain desires, we become a slave to our desires. أرأيت من اتخذ إلهه هواه أفأنت تكون عليه وكيلا أم تحسب أن أكثرهم يسمعون أو يعقلون إنهم إلا كالأنعام بل هم أضل سبيلا. الآية في سورة الفرقان, the Criterion chapter 25 in the Quran. Do you see the person who has taken as his God his vain desires? Can you be a disposer of affair for him? Or do you think that most of them hear or understand they are like cattle? No, they are worse. They are misguided. So that's the reason that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us not to follow our vain desires, because then we become slaves to our desires. Imagine a person who is addicted, he would do anything to satisfy his addiction. Now, in contrast, a person who understands his accountability to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who fulfills his obligation, whether it is prayer, fasting, charity, being good to his parents, being good to his neighbor, exhibiting noble character, doing good deeds, helping those who need his help. All of these are not easy, they are difficult, and they require faith, strong resolve, commitment, determination, and faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. As to the person who fears his standing before Allah and he forbids his soul from doing wrong or controlling himself, then heaven or paradise is his abode. أم حسبتم أن تدخلوا الجنة ولما يعلم الله الذين جاهدوا منكم ويعلم الصابرين. Did you think that you are going to enter heaven without Allah knowing who amongst you strived in his way and who patiently persevered? والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. 4 things that will save us: to have faith and to confirm our faith in our good deeds, and to work together and to cooperate in truth and in patience and perseverance. Prophet Muhammad said, عليكم والصدق فإن الصدق يهدي إلى البر وإن البر يهدي إلى الجنة وإياكم والكذب فإن الكذب يهدي إلى الفجور وإن الفجور يهدي إلى النار. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. Surah Al-Hashr. O you who believe, be conscious and mindful of Allah. Let every soul look what it has forwarded tomorrow, for the morrow. And be conscious and mindful of Allah. Allah is well aware of everything that you do. So to summarize the hadith of the Prophet, the road to hell is full of temptations and is easy. The road to paradise is difficult and full of difficulties. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing every one of us, and shahawat, desires, are these tests, whether it is love of money, love of power, love of fame, women. We have to control our desires, otherwise we become slaves to our desires. The person who understands his accountability to Allah realizes his responsibility and accountability, therefore he watches what he says and what he does. He fulfills his obligations to Allah. He follows Allah's straight path. وأن هذا صراطي مستقيما فاتبعوه ولا تتبعوا السبل فتفرق بكم عن سبيله. ذلكم وصاكم به لعلكم تتقون. الآية في سورة الأنعام. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه وادعوه إنه سميع قريب مجيب الدعاء. If you feel this was useful, let others know about it to spread useful knowledge. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله